Okay, so initially in day one, we just started seeing how to do the initial configuration of the master and the childs. So here I told you here we call the childs as a minions. And basically this comes up with the configuration management tool where it simplifies our work. So I can automate anything or I can simplify my task and make my work more and more easy by just having a simple configuration of master and slave, master and minion method. So using a single master, I can connect all my child servers and I can do whatever services I want. So we just initially saw how to do our initial configuration in different platforms. And next day we saw simple ad hoc commands from the master, how we are controlling our child. So we just used statements to just control that. And I just also shared you with the syntax. What would be the basic syntax? So it covered three statements. Statement one, statement two, statement three. If you remember, it had three statements: sudo salt test dev test.ping, which means in statement one we had something called as sudo salt, which is never gonna change. In statement two, we're gonna have a targeting test dev. In last statement three, I told you I'm gonna pass my function. In our example, our function was test.ping. So using this, I told you you can write your syntax according to your project. You can simplify. And I told you we had almost 20 to 30,000 functions in Salt available. I also gave you an example how to pick up the functions using a thing called system.list underscore function. Divya, you can't hear anything. What about Satish, Prabhu, others, Krishna? Hello?
I'm able to hear you.
Able to hear.
Able to hear. Divya, can you please check your okay, we'll stop it over. So I just started from the simple ad hoc commands telling how to just control from your master to slave. And here, as an example, I told the white color server is my master and black is my child. Like this black color server, you can have n number of servers. The same like your in real time. In real time, you have 100 machines, 1000 machines, 10,000 machines. So all the 10,000 machines you can connect to this single master. And I also told you if this master is failing, I will not have any controls on my child. So in Salt, we do have additionally called as multi-master configuration. And today I'll also tell you how to set up that multi-master configuration, which means that using two masters, I can control the remaining 1000 machines in my industry. And always my first master will be active. If this first master goes down due to any reason, the second master will control all my child servers. This is what we discussed. So sudo salt testdev test.ping. This is a simple command from which we started, where the last is the function. You can use any function you want. And to find the list of functions available in Salt, I also gave you a parameter like sys.list underscore functions. So this will list out what are the system functions available in Salt to do under my minions. All the functions will get listed. You see, these many functions I have to do in Salt. And you cannot pick up all these functions. If you start practicing all these functions, from now on, it will take you almost 3 months to complete. So I told you pick up the primary function and pick up the function according to your project needs. Depends on that, you can Google up. So if you want to search for a specific thing, for example, using test, what and all I can do, he will again filter that. Using a package, what I can do, if you ask him, he will again filter that and he will again give you what all the things you can do using this specific function. So I just splitted it according to three statements: statement one, statement two, and statement three. And statement three was your function. So in last class, we saw something called as package.install or status.diskUsage or cmd.run, various types of functions. And I also gave you an example on that. After that, we discussed more briefly about the statement 2, which is nothing but targeting. I told you how we can do intelligent targeting, if you remember. I just told you using something called as PCRE or compound matches. We can do something called as intelligent targeting. I told you compound matches is nothing but using and or not statement. Let me give you a small example for that. See, this is compound matches, nothing but using and or not statements. So if you want to target a list of minions or you want to give any condition, like I'm targeting some 10 minions and in the 10 minions, it should satisfy some criteria. If this statement 2 is satisfying the appropriate function, it can be test.ping, it can be status.diskUsage, it can be package.install, the appropriate function will get executed on that specific minion. So I also told you how to do intelligent targeting. And after that, we saw something called as PCRE, which is nothing but even though if you know your first letter, last letter or end letter of the minion, you can still target and pass your function to that specific minion accordingly. So these are the things in a short I just covered what we saw in our last few classes. Just a recap for you. Okay, guys. So from today, we are going to see some dynamic commands, how to pass from dynamic SLS files to your child servers, which is the most important thing and key thing. Whatever commands we saw till now was ad hoc commands, a simple command, sudo salt tested. These are known as ad hoc commands. Package dot install, which means that these commands cannot be reusable. Once it's done, the command is completely done. But in Salt or Ansible, we can write some script, because Salt or Ansible comes up with a technique called infra as a code, automating everything. So you should be knowing something in a code level to automate anything. Okay, start writing. And in which language we are gonna start writing our code is Python, which is from a YAML format. Ain't up another markup language is the format which we are gonna use and start writing our code. Okay, so here in YAML, it always supports 3 formats. One is services, package, and file. When I speak up with services, it means that starting, stopping a services. When I speak up with a package, it is known as installing a package, removing a package, or deleting a package. When I speak with the file, it means create or delete a file or a process or anything. When I speak with the process, start or stop. Accordingly, the other things will go. So these are the 3 things, 3 functions which I can use and start writing my YAML scripting. It can be either your Ansible or your Salt. In both the things, these are the script we are going to use. And the syntax of YAML is pretty much very easy. There are only 2 rules to remember while writing any YAML scripting. Okay, yeah, service running package. I had the syntax here. Okay, the first rule here you have to remember is indentations, which means there should be appropriate space. Indentation is the first rule. You have to remember this is very keen and very important while writing a YAML scripting. That means there should be a correct space between the first line and the second line of the code. From the key and value you pass, there should be an appropriate thing. So in YAML, they will speak up with the terminologies called as key and value. So what is the key? Key can be a service or a package or a file, and value can be start, stop. And again, if it's a package was a key, the value can be install or remove. If file is going to be the key, the value will be create or delete. So a key and a value and the indentation. These are the next 2 important things which you need to remember while writing any YAML scripting. Okay. So here, let me start with the simple YAML scripting, which I'm gonna just the same code I'm gonna elaborate in the other example, which I'm gonna show you. But I'm starting with the simple YAML scripting. Just take this and don't forget anything you're gonna do from your master, and the thing is simply gonna get pushed to your child. That's it. So nothing is being done in your child directly. If you're gonna again go to your child and execute that manually, there is no use of this configuration management tool itself. So anything you are simply doing from your master. So this SLS file, which is nothing but an infrastructure as a code file. Here in Salt, we say the file name as SLS. In Ansible, you call that as a playbook. So inside an SLS or a playbook, you will have your infra as a code. What you want the child machine to be, that you will code in an infrastructure level and simply push that from your master server to your child server. So VI for file name can be anything. Here I'm gonna giving a simple name as web server. It can be anything, but the extension should definitely be as a .sls, and you should write everything from your master only, nothing from your child. Okay. So vi file name .sls. I'm gonna insert my code. So here the first line is ID declaration, second line is state declaration, and last line is my function declaration. ID declaration means it's simply telling you what you're doing. You can type anything you want. Just what is your code doing. So I'm just telling a start web server. This is my code doing. Second is state declaration. I told you 3 states, right? Services, file. If you remember, I told you 3 services: services, package, and file. These are the 3 different thing I can do in my playbook or an SLS. So here I'm doing something called a services dot running. I'm going to start some services. Before this, I can use something called as this will definitely. Yeah, SLS represent salt state file. So the core of the salt system, they are telling us SLS, because inside this SLS, which is known as salt state file, you will have your infra as a code, the actual code to get executed in your child machine. The SLS is a representation of the state in which the system should be in. For example, this is my machine. Here I need to decide what this machine should have, what packages this machine should have, or what was the configuration setup this child machine should have. So all those things which I think I have that inside that in my SLS file in my master. I will simply push that SLS file to my child. So whatever I want, those things will get executed in your child machine. That is what it's telling. The SLS represents the state in which your system should be. It represents what my child machine should be in, and it is set up to contain the data in a simple format. That is salt state file, which actually has your infra as a code. So here ID declaration, I'm telling something called as services is package.install, and I'm giving a package name called Apache. And second, I'm telling something called a service.running, and I'm telling to start a services which is known as Apache. So it's a simple code. Just understand this. In our next example, I'm going to elaborate the same code to make it more comfortable for you guys. Can anyone raise your hand and just tell me what will this code do?
It will install Apache server in our Minion.
Okay, and
It will start the service too.
yeah, correct. So there are 2 tasks over here. One is to install a package and start that package, and enable true will tell you what are the changes done. Okay. So the next thing here is privately enable this. Okay. And the next thing here is to remember while teaching something called as command.run above, earlier when I thought in a simple static command, I told you something called as how the salt execution machine or the salt compiler will execute. If you guys remember, while I was teaching this command, I told you with another example like ls-ltrh space etc. While showing this command, I actually told you how the salt compiler will execute. It's just an ID declaration. Install web server is just an ID declaration. You can have anything over here. You can type your name to over here. It's just like a commented out syntax. That's it. Telling you what is the code gonna do. It is not technically gonna pass anything. Okay, now I'm simply saving this. So this file is saved in my master. Now if I'm executing, if I execute this SLS file in my destination machine, there should be a package will get installed and the package would get started. Okay, so simply sudo salt statement 1 and statement 2 is tested. I'm going to use a simple targeting. Okay, I'm not going to use compound matches or PCRE. Let's use a simple one. When you are practicing, you can give multiple conditions by using compound matches and PCRE. And the last is passing your function. So state.sls will call my SLS file and you need to tell what is the SLS file name. So here I have an SLS file name called web server. You can write multiple SLS file. One SLS file called web server, another SLS file called JIT, another SLS file called cat. If you want to execute all the SLS files simultaneously, you can simply give multiple names. So all this SLS file will get executed in your test dev machine. Okay. So I'm simply using statement 1 sudo salt, statement 2 targeting where the file should get executed. My minion name or my child name is test dev. So that's why I give like this. If I give a simple star, it means in all my child server, the SLS file will get executed. Currently, I have only one child. So in the specific child, this web server SLS file will get executed. Okay. So state.sls is used to call a SLS file. So I wrote something called as webserver.sls, right? To call this file, I'm passing a function called state.sls space file name. Now, if I execute this, I will get an error. No matching SLS found for web server in environment base. Can anyone tell me what this actual error is? Here is where the main difference we're learning in a GUI and we're learning in a CLI, command line interface. When you are learning something in your GUI, it is completely a scripted thing or automated thing. You will not actually know what is the thing in background it's happening. But in a CLI, you need to know end-to-end component. Yeah, default landing space. I can also tell that as a base path. Yeah, obviously true. See, here it is telling no matching SLS found. I told you to execute some file called as web server. So salt is master is searching for something called as web server.sls file in a base path. Currently, I'm inside something called as /root, but this SLS file is being searched in something called as a base path. Okay. To confirm what is that base path, you can again go to the default configuration file, which I initially told you in my first class. I told you, right? Inside etc salt, this is a default configuration file. You can search for something called as base. See at the bottom, there is something called as base path by default defined. And it's telling base path is nothing known as SRV salt. So any SLS file you are gonna write, it should be written inside this SRV salt path only. You cannot write an SLS file outside this SRV salt. This can be changed. So in real time, they will keep /prod or /dev or /QA. So multiple base path will be available. So all the files will be taken from the exact base path. So now what is happening is it is searching for this SLS file from my base path, which is nothing but SRV salt. So the path is not available. So I'm just creating. So make directory SRV salt. So move your SLS file. I'm just created a base path. So inside this base path, I'm just moving my SLS file. That's it. So now if you see, I'm inside my base path, and inside my base path, I have the file called webserver.sls. Now if I use the command to run sudo salt testdev, I'm telling where it needs to execute, and I'm telling state.sls to call a SLS file and the file name. This command you can run from anywhere. It's not that you should run from the base path. You can run this command from root. You can run this command from /etc or /dev. You can run this command from any path in this machine. It will still go and search for the SLS file from your base path and the file name which you are given, and it will execute that SLS file in your minion. Okay. So you can run this command from anywhere. It will go and search for the SLS file from your default path. Now if I run this, as you told, a package will get installed and the service will get started in my child machine. Okay. And what is a child machine is testdev. So inside this testdev, these two operation will happen. So if you are able to see, it is telling in testdev, it installed something, identification. Just ID is nothing but identification, which was the first line in colon which I gave. And what was the function? It is telling the function was, the first function we gave was package.install and the package name. And it's telling result is true because I gave something called as enable true. It is telling result and how much time it took and what are the changes it done. And again the second task was to start the process, and the process name was again Apache, and it is telling how much time it is telling. See, it is clearly telling me how many tasks were succeeded. I had two tasks. To install a package was one task, and to start the package was the second task. So both the tasks got succeeded, and it is also telling me whether something changed in your child mission. Yes, I had installed something and I started something. So that's why there is some change happen in your child mission. ts-grep Apache. So are able to see in my child mission, Apache is installed and Apache is started. So it is telling there is some changes has been happening. I told you, right? Salt or Ansible or intelligent tools which will analyze the state of the missions, state of your destination mission. Which means if I try to install the package again, the same package which I already installed. Okay. Now, if you can see the output, it is telling only succeeded to, but it is not telling changed, which means that he is analyzing the state of my child mission. He is checking whether Apache is already available and Apache is already running. If it is running, he is simply telling, hey, I succeeded. Whatever you told was that, but I didn't change anything because it was already up and running. I gave you an example in first class. If a first shift guy already comes, installs a package, and he does some port configuration changes, some firewall changes, everything he does, and he just leaves for the day. After that, the second shift guys comes and he again tries to rerun the package. Okay. So if you rerun the package, if everything gets overwritten, whatever he done was overwritten and a new set of package was installed, it's a total waste. This machine should be in a more intelligent manner where it should analyze the state of the mission. It should understand the child server. So here they are understanding the mission. When I rerun the same SLS file to install a package, to install the same Apache package and to start the package, it is checking my destination machine, whether the package is already available and it started, and it's not changing anything. It's simply coming back and responding me, whatever you said, both were available. He's not overwriting anything. Okay. And here the execution is happening function by function. As the same example I said, told you in command run sudo salt testdev command run. Remember, I just told you this example. So here I told you first this make directory function will get executed, and then only the compiler will go for the list function, which means now if I able to if the in the output I'll be able to see the folder name called greens. But if I have this ls command first and mkdir command second, in the output which is listing, I will not be able to see the folder called greens, because I told you it will execute function by function. Once this function get executed, only the second function will get executed. The same way, the same logic applies for my SLS file too. First, my package.install will get executed. Next, only the service.running function will get executed. It will not skip. Okay. So this is the third rule to remember. Okay, guys. So I just told you what are the three rules. First thing is key and value. So package is the key, and this is the value. And the next thing is indentation. After the key and value, there should be a appropriate space available, which means here I should have 2 spaces. Suppose if I am having 3 spaces over here. Now if I am trying to execute this, this Apache.2 will take install web server as the key. The syntax is not correct. So definitely my code will not get executed. See, so you should have appropriate indentations from here. After this, the next last thing you need to remember is the function by function. Suppose if you try to write the service.running at the start and package.install at the second, the script will not get executed. Okay, see in this example, I'm just telling to start a service and I told the service name, and after that only I'm telling to install a package. The same script which you saw earlier, but I jumbled something. Earlier what was there is package.install was there at first. Later we had the second service called service.running. But now here I'm telling to start a service and to install that package. Okay, just tell me what will happen if I now execute this SLS file in this child machine. Any guess? So I'm just trying to execute this SLS file in my child machine. Can you make a guess what will be the output?
First, it will check the service.
Sorry?
It will check the first service if it's running.
Okay, then? Yeah, correct. It will first check whether the service compiler will run service.running first, and second it will run the install web server. But in this case right now, it will succeed because the package is already there. So first thing what I will do is I will just remove the package. Package.remove, which means I told you, right? The advantage of these tools. This is analyze the state of my machine. Whatever I told here was already there in my child machine. So it will not fail. It will simply say succeeded to. Nothing got failed. But instead of that, I'm just removing the package. Now let's consider there is nothing called as Apache in your destination machine. Okay. So the destination machine is completely clean right now. My child machine is completely clean. Okay. Now if I run sudo salt testdev state.sls, the file name. So now if I execute this, it will definitely fail. And what will fail? Whether both the things will fail or whether a specific operation will fail. You can simply see here. It is telling succeeded one, failed one. So can you tell me what was succeeded and what was failed? What could have been succeeded and what could have been failed?
The first step might have failed and second step might have installed.
Yeah, obviously too. So what is the compiler doing is it's first running the service.running and it's checking for a package. there is no such package because there was no installation operation itself happened. So it will definitely fail the service.running and skip to the second option. And now it will install the package. That's why you are able to see succeeded one, the package got installed and service.running got failed. So now all my logic is getting satisfied, whatever I told you from the first class. So these are the rules you need to remember before writing your code too. So that's why I'm making some stress out over here on this specific logic, because you can get the actual code from the Google or online too, but these are the logics which you cannot get it from Google or anything. You should learn this. Okay, so that's why I'm just taking some time. Now, if I rerun this command, if I rerun sudo salt testdo, if I rerun the state.sls, sorry, webserver.sls file in my testdo, can you just tell me what would be the output now?
Same thing. The first one, service will just say status running, and second one, as it's already installed, it's not going to proceed anything.
Okay, but service running will be, what would be the output for service running?
It should be
It
true.
is succeeded actually.
Yeah, so this is where the logic is. I told you master will always analyze, the minions will analyze the state of the nodes, whether the nodes are having that package. Here it failed because it didn't have the package. Even though compiler is executing again also, when I give service.running the package name, it will go and check for the package. The package would be already there because earlier I pushed the package, right? So the package would be already there. So now you will get something called a succeeded to. Because the package is already available, it is simply starting the package and the compiler will again come for a now how will the compiler execute this? First it will come to service.running and it will try to start a service. So the package will be available. So it will start that package. And the compiler will again come to install web server to install the package again. The package was already installed. It will simply skip. So that's why you are not able to see anything changed. Understood now how it's actually getting executed? Guys, let me know if you have understood how the compiler is actually running. Just raise your hands if you do not understand, because this is the logic where we write. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, this is a simple example for how to do this, and I will also help you somewhat in a SLS method too, which means initially when I try to run this command, which means when the package was not available, when I removed when the package was not completely available and the node was completely fresh, when I tried to run this, it first started to start a service where the package was not available. So the service.running got failed. Later only it started to install the package. We will be also able to override this by using a simple require or watch function. It is an YAML functions available, which means that, see here, the same code which you use, in the same code, in between I'm going to add something called as a function called require. See here now, I'm initially telling is to start a service and the service name, and again to the last only I'm telling to install a package, but in between I added something called as require. So what this require function will do is the compiler will not execute the line number 2. When I try to execute this SLS file, it will directly skip out to this require function and it will check what are the prerequisites or requirements for my application. Okay, so all these requirements will get executed first and then only it will go to this actual execution. So here the compiler will hit to the require function. So I give a requirement called install web server as the requirement. So it will first install this. Later the compiler will jump to line number 2 and it will start that service.running. So if you are able to see, I removed the package. So earlier when I tried to run this SLS file, I got one succeeded and one error, which means the service.running was not able to start. Now if I try to run this, I will get both succeeded. So a require function or a watch function can be used to add your prerequisites. So you can skip your compiler execution too. So that is also possible. So see, now you are getting succeeded to changed one. Earlier I got succeeded one, failed one, right? Now I'm getting both as succeeded because I added something called as require function. So I just added this to elaborate or enhance your YAML knowledge. Okay, guys? Understood what is a require function is?
Yes.
Just speak out if you do not understand anything. You can just ask.
Yes, understand.
Okay. So use all this technique, all this knowledge. Initially try my examples, document which I'm going to share you. Later, you write your own code, depends on your infrastructure. In your day-to-day task, try to do all these things. Require function. Okay. See. Okay, I'll tell once again. See, earlier, when I tried to execute the SLS file, I told you first the service.running will get run, then only the package.install will get run. First, it will try to start a service where the package itself not available. I'm trying to start Apache. Apache should be available in my destination machine to start Apache. So that's why when I tried to run this SLS file, I got one failed and one succeeded. One failed was service.running because it was not able to start a service where the package was not available. Okay. But to override this, I introduced something called as require function. In this require function, you can give what are all your prerequisites, what are all your requirements. Okay. So if any requirements is there, all the requirements you can add it over here. So Salt what will do is it will first execute only this require function. What and all you specified in your require, those will get executed. Later only the remaining function will get executed. Require is nothing but an prerequisites to just avoid error in your logic, because here it is a simple 5 lines or 6 line code. In real time, it is not going to be a same thing. It will be 150 lines or 200 lines of code. So that to write a simple all the prerequisites, you can use this require function. That's why I wanted to teach you on this. Okay, Aziz, you understood the require, or you want? Okay. Now, I'm telling you all the possibilities installed. What and all I told you to override that. Earlier I told you, right? If I need to execute any SLS file, it should be in my base path. So SLS file available in my base path will only get executed. Otherwise, it will not get executed. I can also override this. There is another function for that. See, for example, I'm currently in my base file called SRU salt. I have my file name called webserver.sls here. I'm creating another folder, which is package Apache. So now I'm going inside package Apache. So I'm not inside my base path. I'm inside some different path. Okay. So here I'm writing an SLS file. So see guys, so now I'm inside a different path. Here inside this path, I have my webserver.sls file. So now can you tell me if I use the same command, whether the SLS file will get executed in my child machine? Earlier, you remember when I tried to write an SLS, execute an SLS file in a different path, which is not in my base path, it threw me an error. Remember?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, if I try to rerun this, whether it will get executed or it will get whether I'll get any errors.
Anyway, but you are executing in the parent directory only, right? Inside the
Base
service.
directory. Base directory.
Now, if I execute this, it will definitely work out because I told you this command I can run from anywhere. Okay. If I go to my SRU salt path again, still have my SLS file, so it will get executed. Now remove this. Now I remove this. Okay. Now if I try to execute this, see, I'm getting failed. Even though if I'm in my parent directory, if I try to execute a SLS file, it is still failing. Why? Because it will come and search out only in your default path, SRV salt path only. I don't have any SLS file in my SRV salt path. I have the SLS file inside called package and a folder called Apache. So inside SR package Apache, I have my SLS file. So what you need to do is you have a different function for that. The default command will not get executed. You have a different function called state.apply. Sudo salt testdev. Instead of state.sls, you should use state.apply, and you should give the complete path name, package.apache, and your SLS file name. Now if I run this, your SLS file will get executed. Okay, see. Otherwise, if you run using the default syntax, it will always search under the default path, which is nothing but SRV salt, and it will get executed. Okay. If you need to call a SLS file from a different path, you can still do that install by using a function called state.apply. State.apply is used to run an SLS file from a different path. Okay. I'm just telling you another method where you can run SLS file which is not even available from your base path too. You can use this. Something called a state.apply. Understood the difference between state.sls and state.apply?
Yes. So instead of file name path, you need to give the dot, right? Package
yeah. Instead of slash, I'm giving the path where my SLS file is available. The complete path I'm giving. To do that, I'm giving state.apply. That's it.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay. Let me show you the same code in a different format. This is the same code. Okay, server. Okay, guys, now see this code. This is the same code, but I had some interesting facts over here. Can you tell me something more interesting? You see someone, a very new guy. You remember grains? I told you grains. Remember grain commands which I taught you in day 2?
Yeah.
What was
You're
the
running
grain
some conditions. Some conditions.
Great.
Conditions was compound matches.
Okay.
Remember this grain command?
Second is pulling.
Yeah, grains for pulling. If I told you to pull out any static information about your child, I told you we can use grains. For example, in this example, sudo salt -- grains OS Ubuntu, I told you it will check all the machines which are running in Ubuntu machine, and in only those machines this function will get executed. And using grains.item, I told you if I want to pull out any OS information or any static information about my child, I can use this grain command. Grains.item, if I ask OS, it will tell you this minion what OS it is running. Grains for gathering, I told you, right? Remember? So what and all ADA commands I just told you, I'm just writing that in a SLS file. So that's why I taught you ADA command separately and SLS separately to have it more briefly understand. So here I'm using again the same grain command, telling that grains OS should be Ubuntu. So it will check what are all the machines which are running in Ubuntu, and in those machine only package will get installed. My first condition. Again service.running. It will again check what are all machines are running in Ubuntu. In those machines only the service will get started. Okay, I can use grains and first gather the information about the child. If that thing gets satisfied, this specific operation will get done. So package will get installed, Apache package will get installed only in Ubuntu machines, and Apache package will get started only in Ubuntu machines. Okay, and later it will create a default home path, a shell, a user, a group ID, all these kinds of things. Now if I run this, yeah, watch is same like your requirement function. See, watch is same like your requirement function. I earlier told you something called as require, right? You remember requirement? I told you what is a requirement function. So this watch is also same like your requirement function. Wait, I added it over here. See, next to the requirement statement was changed to watch, and now I'm watching 3 state. So same like a prerequisites. So it will first check whether these two are primarily available. Package should be available and the user should be available. I'm just mandatory things as a requirement. I'm just giving. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
I have one question.
Yeah. Sure.
Can you go to that page? That
My document page or the SLS?
SLS file.
Okay.
That on user Apache 2. What is this? Package is Apache 2.
Okay, user Apache, what is the thing you are asking, right? So
Yeah.
here I'm not only installing Apache, I'm also creating a user for Apache, which means that Apache belongs to middleware team. Likewise, SQL belongs to database team. So in Linux machine, each team will have their own login. They will not log in as root for sure. So I just created a package, I installed a package, and for that package, I'm just creating a user. So in my child machine, if you go in your child mission, if you see under cat/etc password, I also created a user called Apache. Okay, you not only installed a package, you created a user called Apache. So now you can give that user ID to your Linux team, so they can use this user ID and log in, and they can execute their Apache function. So instead of using sudo su-root, now what I can do is I can log in as su-apache. So this is the user. I created a user and I installed a package and started a package. Okay. So for this specific team, I can grant this user access. That is what we did over here. So this user Apache 2 will create a user and it will also set a home path. So for this user, the path is www.html. So this user can work only in this specific path. It cannot work outside this specific. Okay. So we created a simple user. To be more clean, user add greens. This is what we did.
Please go.
Okay. So yeah, I created a user called green. Similarly, the
We
same
we can't hear properly. Someone is not on mute.
Krishna Kumar, please turn off your mic.
I think. Let me make mute if anyone is. Okay, all of them are mute right now. So the same user command which will be used to create a user, this we used in our SLS file to create a user. User.present, it is going to create a user and the username will be Apache. So I told a package called Apache and the user. You can give a different name. You can give your name too. Instead of this Apache 2, you can give greens also. It's your wish. Whatever username you want, you can start giving it over here. So user command will simply create a user for that package you have installed. So you can do the user level of access to that specific team. They will log in at the specific user and start using that Apache function. That's it. Understood, guys? Because the next thing I'm going to tell you is very much important. You should be very clear on this. Let's make a history of whatever we saw. So initially I told you how to execute an SLS file, state.sls, and I told you all my SLS files should be in my base path. The next thing we saw something called a state.apply, whereas using state.apply, if my SLS is not available in my base path also, still I can run that. And also we saw something in an YAML level, which is in an SLS level, how to run our code and how the compiler will get executed. And I taught you two functions, require and watch function to execute our code. These are the different things you saw. The next most important thing we are gonna see is grouping. Let me open this Excel to just teach you about that grouping. So grouping or grouping can be known as top.sls file in Salt, which means I can create a file called top, and here I can give all the requirements, how my SLS file should get executed. For example, in this top file, if you see, the star means all in all the target servers, the below SLS file, the Vim is an SLS file, scripts is an SLS file, user is an SLS file. Same way, Apache is an SLS file, Python is an SLS file, and MySQL is an SLS file. But what happens is, I'm just specifying as a group. In all my servers, vim.sls file will get executed. In all my servers, script.sls file will get executed. But if you see apache.sls file, this will not get executed in all machine. This will get executed in host name in my minions, which has web in them. And same way, mysql.sls file will get executed only in DB. This top.sls file can be used like an warning file. See, for example, database servers doesn't need Apache. Same way, web servers doesn't need MySQL. If someone accidentally use sudo salt star and execute some SLS and execute mysql.sls file, which means mysql.sls will get run in all the machines. For example, if someone use sudo salt star, you remember, right, what the star means? Targeting, which means all. In all the machines, your MySQL SLS file will get executed. And in this all this machine, you will have database machine, you will have web servers machine, you will have batch processing machine, you have various kinds of machine. And again, as per the company needs, company's run book, only in database server MySQL is needed. In web server, we definitely do not need MySQL. Okay, to avoid these kinds of misconfiguration, Salt is giving something called a stop file. You can add your prerequisites over here, telling them in an SLS range, you can set your prerequisites. So if you misjudgely or unknowingly run an MySQL file in a web server also, it will not get executed, because Salt will first come and watch this top file. It will see what condition you have given. So only in web machines, Apache will get executed. Same way, only in DB machine, MySQL will get executed. It will make sure in all the missions, not all the SLS file is getting executed. So you can see in all the mission, Vim will get executed because here I gave star. But in only web server, Apache will get executed. Same way in only database server, MySQL will get executed. I will show you a simple example for this. Let me remove everything. I'll keep something for this.
For this, that minion name should be in same name, right? Like web server one or DB
No,
one.
no, there is no need. I'll just show you an example. See, we'll just I'll create a multiple SLS file. I'll explain you. So pwd, I'm in my base path, and inside my base path I have three SLS files. One is jit.sls, another one is webserver.sls, and third one is top.sls. Let me see what and all I have. First in jit.sls. So in jit.sls I have Git package install. I have query to install Git. This is what I have in Git.sls. The same way in webserver.sls. So in webserver.sls, I have queries to install Apache package and to start Apache services. Okay. And last in top.sls. In top.sls, I had my conditions over here. See, here what will happen is in all the machines, webserver.sls file will get executed. Because I given this is a SLS file name, web service SLS file name, Git is my SLS file name. So in all the machines, suppose with my master, I have 30 machines federated. So in all the 30 machines, this SLS web server.sls file will get executed, which means Apache will get installed and Apache will get started. But Git will get only installed in this specific minion. It will not get installed in all the child servers with me. Suppose now if I run sudo salt, even though if I give star and run also, this Git will not get executed in all the machine. Git will get only executed in test dev. That's it. Okay. So top.sls is like a prerequisite. You can define which SLS file in which machine you can execute. So to call this top.sls file, there is a function called state.istate. That's it. So sudo salt star, which means all the machines, state.istate. So even though if I give all, this Git will get installed only in test dev. Git will not get installed in all the machines. This is what I'm telling. See now, here I have only one child machine. So Apache and Git will get installed in only in test dev. While you are practicing, you can have two child. So in all the child, Apache will get installed, but in only test dev, Git will get installed. Which means Git package will get installed. Understood what we are doing in this top.sls file? Someone was raising a question, right?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, understood?
Yes.
It's just like a grouping to avoid miscellaneously or installing something in unwanted servers. That's it. Sure. So I have something called as git.sls and webserver.sls. So in git.sls, I have a script to install Git. In webserver.sls, I have a script to install Apache and to start Apache. And last, I write something called as top.sls. In top.sls, I'm just telling Apache should get installed in all the minions which I have. Suppose if I have some 100 missions with this master, in all the 100 missions, Apache will get installed. But Git will get installed only in this specific minion, in this only in specific machine. So even though if I run sudo salt star, even though if I run sudo salt star, star means to execute in all the machines, right? So Git should have got installed in all this machine, but salt will not do like that. Salt will, what it will do is it will go and run this top.sls file. So it will just check what my master has given. So master has defined Apache should install in all the machine, but Git should install only in test dev. So even though if I give star, Git will get installed only in this particular minion. It will not get installed in all the 100 machines. That is what we are doing in this top.sls file. That is what available in this PPT also, in the screenshot also. So the top file which will be in default on the top. In an infrastructure, there will be different domains with different group names. That can be a database server, web servers, batch servers, different mission. So unknowingly also, you should not run any SLS file in a wrong server. To do that, Salt has come up with this top.sls file, a grouping file. That's it. Okay.
Shravan, I have one question.
Okay. As I told you, I gave you an example for services package. I'll also give you a small example for file too. So this is my child mission. Don't get confused. So see, in this child already Apache got installed and Apache started, and the default Apache port is 80. So if you want this port to be changed, you don't want the default 80 port, you want this some other port which you want, you can still have that. What are the configuration changes also? Hello? See, I want to change the port number. Even though if you want to change the port number, you can all do that from your master. I'll give a simple example for you. See here, I'm telling file.replace file. What file? I'm just telling to go and paste this file and listen to this port 80 and change that port from 80 to 8080. This is what we are going to run. So when I run the script in my child machine, the port should not be 80, the port should be 8080. Okay. So sudo salt testdev state.sls and your SLS file name. See, it is telling you. I added something called the show change is true, right? So that's why it's telling you what was changed. Minus from 82, it was updated to 88. Succeeded one and changed one. Now go to your destination mission. Check for your ports. See, your ports is updated from 80 to 8080. So all these things you can do in a single code itself, which means I can install a package, I can create a user, I can change the port number, all this in a simple single SLS file. But since this is your first time you're seeing all this SLS, I would just deviated this to simple small level of modules for your better understanding. Once you have got a better understanding and become an expert on this, have a major code, a big line of code, because in real time that would be the conditions for you guys. Okay. So this is an example for file.replace.
Hello.
Yeah.
I have one question.
Yeah, sure.
Can you go to that document turn.port? Is this SLS file?
This one, right?
Turn off keep alive.
Yeah.
Is this SLS file? We need to paste this command as SLS file, right?
This is like, see, that's why I told you, I just break this out from my existing module. This was my actual code. To have better understanding, I just break this out. Okay. So that's why you need to copy this entire thing, because it should be in the same like key and value. It should understand where it needs to get executed. That's why we're giving turn off keep alive.
Okay.
All these are a single coding. Okay, guys. So these are an example for an SLS file. I think these documents are already shared with you. You can practice all this SLS file. I have more SLS file available with me too. So if anyone has practiced this and have more interest, they can ping me separately. I can share you those SLS file too. Before leaving, I will just share you how to do multi-master setup. In the same document, I also added the steps how to do multi-master setup. Okay, so you need to just follow up. So see, step 1, install new server with the same master setting, and step 2, enter the child IP and accept him. The same thing, whatever you did earlier to do the master configuration, the same setup I need to do. Nothing else new. So I'm just quickly creating another server, which is going to be my second master. Remember, I told you something called as multi-master is possible in Salt. So I'm just creating another new Linux machine. So why I'm creating this Linux machine is this is going to be my second master. So here we have an existing master and this child is federated to this master. I'm going to have another master to be federated with this child. So even though this master goes down, I can command this child using this second master. Yes, please go ahead. Someone was speaking.
I'm Satish. I have one question.
Yeah.
In the top.ls file, you created one code, right? You want to install Apache in all the server,
Yeah.
given star, and another you given the test dev, that is a minion name. There you want to install Git, right?
Correct.
Yeah. If I want to install around 10 minions, Git means what there I need to mention instead of test dev.
You want to install in 10 minions, right?
Yeah, Git.
So
There you
you can
install in one.
Yeah, you're installing in only in 1 minion, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Things okay. Okay, let's come back. Let's take this was my example. Where was that? Yeah, okay. So here you give testdev and the minion name over here. True or not? So earlier I told you in an auto command how to install in a multiple minions, which is simply by using compound matches. Sudo salt -e let the multiple minions names you just gave, right? So
Yeah.
this file is just like a prerequisite file. If you do not have that minion name over here, you can simply give let the minion names. Else you can, if you want, you can just add the all the minion names over this column itself. However you want, you can just describe this over here. So if you have multiple minion names, for example, all the things are web server, there is nothing needed. You need to give the complete minion name over here. You can give, for example, database server star will have DB in between. You know some keywords mean you can simply add that keyword. For example, in my PPT itself, see there was not a complete minion name was entered here. Only web. Before and after that, star was defined. So in your real time, the servers would have the host names would be in some defined format. Some WEB means web, AP means app servers, DB means database servers, BH means batch server. So what you can do is you can simply give star WB or AP or DB and star. So so it will fetch out not a single minion, multiple minions at a time. Okay, that's why I thought you compound matches to understand this more and better. Like this. Compound matches sudo salt -c l. So I can give multiple minions name over here. Okay, this is also possible. Understood now, or you still have any doubts?
Understood.
Okay, now I've created another new master, a third mission as a master mission. Log into this master. The same steps what and all you did for your first master. Nothing is going to change. The same steps. Remember, I initially logged into my master, typed host name, and added that host name into etc host file, rebooted the master, and again I just relogged into the mission. Let me keep this mission also in white. And you took the curl command to copy the exe file. Then you ran the exe file. The same steps. Okay. Now, after this, what you need to do is first install new server with the same salt master setting, and in child server enter the master IP. The same step what you did. So after the master installation is done, you took the master IP and added it in the child server, right? The same thing I'm going to do. So after this installation is done, take the IP of this master and add it in your child machine. Okay. Your child machine will already have an IP as your first master. Add the second master IP too. Okay. Now the master installation is completed over here. I think it's still running. Just take the host name of this master and add it in your child. Okay, this is your child server. Remember, these are the same steps which I did in the day one class. Master and minion setup. Nothing new I'm doing. Sudo EI. Remember the path etc salt minion. We went and entered the master IP over here. Here now what you need to do is just add first master IP and second master IP. Add both the master IPs over here. That's it. Okay. Understood? This is my first master IP, whom I was listening from the beginning or doing all the commands. Now the new master setting which I install, the second master IP, I'm adding it in my child server. Okay. So both the IPs I've added here. Just study this below. If multiple masters are specified in this master setting, the default behavior is to try to connect them in the order which they are listed. Can you tell me what is telling? If multiple,
yeah, will check the first master IP. If it's not reachable, then it will come to the second IP.
That's it. That's it. Very easy. That's it. It will try to hit. Always, it will try to hit the first master IP. If it's not reachable, he will go to the second master IP. That's it. Okay. You can click on save, and don't forget this. All his default so for files will also be in YAML format only. So make sure of the indentation. So this is the key and this is the value. So after key and value, there should be 2 spaces. If you give a space here wrongly, it will not take. Suppose if I give a space here wrongly, this IP will not get picked up. Okay. This is the syntax. I've added this syntax in my document too, for you guys to practice it. Okay. This is the syntax. This you should enter in your child IP. So if you do so, now if your first master goes down, you can communicate from your second master. Yeah, definitely it's able to push. You have many push commands. If you can push a file directly, you can use a CP command. You can use a sys.list underscore function space CP and find all this thing. And you can use a CP and you can push a file from your master to child. Everything is possible in Salt. The only thing is you need to pick up the appropriate function for that. Okay. And the last thing, both the masters should have the same PEM file. Okay. So search for this PEM file in your first master. Okay. Cat etc salt pki master, because this PEM file will be already shared to your child. So child will be already sharing this certificate. So now when I newly install the master, this will have a new certificate. So child will face some difficulties to communicate. So what you need to do is copy this PEM file from your first master to your second master. Just drag here, drag and drop. Just select this. Go to your second master. Master.pem. Delete everything. Copy this. This is, don't use any WinCP or anything. Just select and copy. Okay. So this master.pem and master.pub file. So these are known as system certificates. So your first master would have already shared this certificate to your child. So what you need to do is copy this master.pem or master.pub content in your second master. That's it. This is the last step you need to do. Okay, now go to your master. So this third machine is my new master, right? Here, sudo salt key. Are you able to see under unaccepted keys? I'm able to see tested accept him. The same steps what and all you did. So accept. Accept him. That's it. See, he is now accepted. But if I try to command from my second master, he will not be able to command. See the simple test ping function I'm using. This I'm typing from my second master, but he will not be able to command. Can you tell me why he's not able to command?
Because first master still alive.
Master one is still alive.
So it will wait for the first master for the retrieval each 30 seconds. If the first master is not responding within 30 seconds, he will reconnect to the second master and you can start commanding from your second master. Very simple multiple. I have documented those steps over here too. Just study and start practicing it. Okay, guys? Guys, please do let me know if you have any questions over here. Okay, so just practice all my SLS file, all my commands. So from solved perspective, I told you what are the possible things available. Apart from this, you have apart from this, you have more SLS file. I have that personally with me. If anyone is interested, they can privately ping me for that SLS file. I can share you for your better practices. Okay, from solved perspective, I just completed with all the possible commands. Okay, just watch out my documents, practice all these things for the first time. The next time, start writing your own condition. Mix up statement 2 and statement 3. Mix up all the SLS content. Mix up the YAML coding. Try with different codings. Watch out all the things which are possible. Make it compatible with your real time. So have some your real time condition in your mind and try to automate that. Okay. If you need any help, you can just ping me. No issue. You can ping me at any time. I'll just respond once I'm free. Okay, guys.
Okay, Shiva. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for joining with me. Hope this session was useful for you. Make this more and more useful. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. I'll just share the recording in a short time. Okay. Thanks all.